Hi, this is Julie Thompson reporting from IAB MIXX Conference, New York Advertising Week. I'm here with Tony Pace, the CMO and SVP of Subway's Ad Fund, as well as Bill Simmons, ESPN's special columnist and contributor, but also editor-in-chief of Grantland. Hi, you guys. Thanks for being here.
Pleasure.
You guys just came off the stage and told everyone about Grantland. Why don't you tell us about that, Tony, first?
Well, we worked with Bill for a long time, dating back to the podcast we've done on ESPN. Bill has a great audience that sticks with him, and engagement is very, very important. So we're happy to be involved with Grantland because the folks on Grantland stay there for a long time, and as a founding advertiser, they see an awful lot of messaging from all of us at Subway.
We started out, we wanted to get between 3 and 5 advertisers, and the first one I wanted was Subway because I'd had a great relationship with them with the podcast, and we pitched the site to Tony, and he got it immediately, and it's something that, I hope it's a partnership we have for 8 to 10 years or however long the site lasts. Maybe the site will last forever, I don't know.
Let's hope. So you talked a lot about engagement and the importance of content, and obviously the theme of the conference here has been all about the story. How does that help inform you in making your decisions about marketing at Subway, and how does that help your partnership?
Well, storytelling, we think, leads to engagement, and Bill and all the writers at Grantland tell great stories. So at the end of the day, as I said up there on the stage, we think engagement is kind of like on-base percentage, in that it's the undiscovered stat that exists out there that people really aren't paying much attention to, which matters when you're driving marketing messaging. So we like engagement, and we know that we're getting it with Grantland.
From our vantage point, that we created this site, we were hoping for quality and not quantity, and I think there's room for both. I think the internet was going in a direction of just, emphasizing page views and getting stuff up all the time, and 25 posts per day versus just putting thought into 5. I think there's room for both worlds. We thought there was a void. We thought there's a void for good writers. We thought that we wanted a place that good writers would come to us and be like, hey, I have an idea for a story, and we'd pay them. We're basically trying to prove that you can pay writers in the internet, and that you can get sponsors to fund a site without making readers pay for it. And in year 1, we did that. We'll see if that can keep going. I hope it does.
Yeah, excellent. So are there any tips you have, Tony, for marketers looking for the kind of engagement that's so important, but that you, in terms of remaining true to their brand and engaging people online?
Well, one of the dimensions of our brand that's really important, Julie, is the notion of being current. And because Bill blends sports with pop culture, we think there's nothing more current than that with a lot of folks. So that's part of the reason we got involved with the podcast way back when. We think Grantland's a natural evolution of that. And our association with Grantland makes us current in the eyes of the people that see the site, which then makes their association with the brand exactly what it needs to be. So that's very, very important to us. I'm not sure that is what every brand is looking for, but in our category, it's very, very meaningful. So my suggestion for people when they're looking at content is, what are the dimensions of your brand that are most important that content can play a role with developing, and then find the appropriate people in that area to work with.
Great. And sorry.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, as a content creator, really, and in working with a major marketer, what's your advice for people on your side of the fence?
Well, I mean, there's a couple things. First of all, I think it's a misnomer that you can't get paid to write on the internet. I think you just have to be creative about it. I also think it's a misnomer that people don't want to advertise on the internet. I think people do want to advertise if it's a good product, and it's everybody's job to think of products that stand out and not emulate other people. I think from the ad buyer community, I don't really. It seems like they go conservative too much, and it's kind of like they're looking at what already worked, or they're looking at what's the safest thing I can do with I'll buy a Super Bowl commercial. And there's things out there that if you attach yourselves to them early, you really become a part of that site. And Subway, like for my podcast, has been the sponsor since the get-go, and hopefully be a sponsor for Grantland for as long as we have Grantland. But, you know, I just feel like there's more opportunities out there than just doing what everybody else is doing. I think that goes for content or buying content.
Excellent. So if you could sum up, yes, please.
So the other thing that I would say is most people look at transactional media buys. I'm going to buy 3 pounds of TRPs for next week. The thing about our relationship with Bill's podcast and now Grantland, you know, we look at a long-term trajectory. It's easier to work together when you get to know one another. Okay, it's like, hey, would you mind doing this, or would you consider doing that? Bill can always say no, but he'll also know what we're thinking about, and I know that that thought will be with him 6 months from now, and he says, hey, that didn't make sense back then, but maybe it makes sense now. There is a relationship side to storytelling which has a longer trajectory than what the media buy is today, and that's an important piece of how we do business.
That's a great thought. That's a great thought to conclude on, actually. Thank you, Tony, and thank you, Bill, for being here. Happy MIXX Conference.